Big stars like David Beckham, Catherine Jenkins and Cheryl Cole have all visited our troops in Afghanistan, but they're not the first entertainers to go at the front line.
No, Larry Lamb has been to meet one lady who did her bit to boost morale way before any of that lot were even born.
During the Second World War, some of the biggest names in showbiz joined the Entertainment's National Service Association, or ENSA, to do their bit at home and abroad. I'm on my way to Hurst Castle on the Solent. It's home to one of the few surviving Garrison theatres where performers from ENSA trod the boards.
It might be hard to believe that a group of lovies had a crucial part to play in wartime, but on stages just like this, performers from ENSA did their bit for the war effort. So, Sean, can you tell me why it is there's a theatre out here in the middle of the Solent?
Well, during the Second World War, we had a garrison of 160 troops here, and being very isolated, they need to make their own entertainment. So from a couple of gun bays, they made the theatre that we can see here now. There were singers, acrobats, the guys used to like the dancers down here, especially the pretty ones, and must have been a tremendous atmosphere.
ENSA was the brainchild of theatre impresario Basil Dean, who wanted to establish a network of entertainers.
What was Basil Dean's vision?
His vision was based on what had happened in the First World War, when there was a definite need for some sort of morale-boosting entertainment. And he kept that belief going for the whole of the Second World War.
21-year-old dancer Audrey Landreth joined ENSA as an entertainer.
How come you decided to join ENSA?
Well, strangely enough, I got my call-up papers and I appealed against it on the grounds that being a dancer, and they said, OK, as long as you join ENSA.
Audrey travelled to military bases all over Britain with a group of 5 performers called Magic Moments.
Short skirts, and that was daring in those days, don't forget, and a bit of a showing your bust, and blonde as I was in those days, and you brought the house down.
I bet you did.
You didn't have to be a good dancer.
The theatres further afield were a much more makeshift affair.
They worked off the back of a lorry, they worked from tents, they worked in, certainly Italy, in conditions where, let's say, rats were very common running across the stage.
Despite all the efforts of the performers, some said that ENSA stood for every night something awful.
Dean had to fill the demands placed on him to produce shows. And he couldn't always have Gracie Fields and Tommy Trinder and George Formby. He had to make do with other people. Some were good and some were not.
After D-Day and the Normandy landings, Basil Dean wanted his performers to follow our troops as they pushed their way through Europe, which meant real risks to their safety. Audrey's best friend, Vivian Hole, had also joined ENSA, but was travelling with a different troupe.
She was what I would call bubbly, happy-go-lucky, I don't know. She was full of life.
On January the 23rd, 1945, while travelling to a show in Holland, the truck she was in hit a landmine and Vivian died.
I was absolutely devastated. It really, really was a terrible tragedy. I couldn't believe it.
Vivian was the only ENSA performer killed during the war, but the dangers were real.
They knew that there were dangers, but they felt the troops needed entertaining and they took the risk.
So, Audrey, if you don't mind, I'd like to take you over there and we're going to recreate a little bit of that wartime magic.
Let's go.
And to get us into the mood, a local performers, the Windmill Swing Band. During the war, ENSA staged over 2.5 million performances, and talented ladies like Audrey helped to raise the spirits of our troops during those troubled times, and for that, we should all be very grateful. You still got it, Audrey.
How have you learned?
Oh, he's good.